former Republican governor of Minnesota, Tim Pawlenty. Governor, welcome back. Always good to see you, sir.
Good to be with you, Hena, and the NewsNation viewers.
Let's talk about the current state of your state. There are thousands of people there protesting, frustrated with how the Department of Homeland Security is operating in Minnesota. What would you like to say to them this morning?
Well, of course, people can exercise their First Amendment rights to free speech, but you don't get to throw things, you don't get to hurt people, you don't get to break things. And so far, the protests have been mostly peaceful with some exceptions. So that's good so far. And hopefully Minneapolis and Minnesota has learned the lesson from the George Floyd riots that you cannot be late in responding to violent protesters. So if this turns violent, they need to respond appropriately and in a timely fashion.
And what about the people in your state? What would you like to tell them?
Well, obviously, we have people at a split mind. Of course, our hearts go out to the family members and loved ones of the victim in this case. But as we all watch these videos from different angles, people are reaching very different conclusions. And of course, that's like most things in politics. But one aspect of this that really I've been reflecting on, Hena, is the city of Minneapolis and the state of Minnesota are, unfortunately, in my opinion, sanctuary cities and sanctuary states. So right from the get-go, they said, we're not going to cooperate with ICE. You had the governor calling ICE Gestapo. You really had sort of a pre-agitation by certain public officials, or at least resistance to what ICE is trying to do, which is enforce the law. So if the locals won't protect ICE and won't help them in an orderly fashion, and ICE doesn't trust the local officials to cooperate with them and share information, of course, you're going to get chaos, and that's what we have.
We know that more agents, as many as 1,000, are on their way to Minnesota. What would you say to the president and his administration about sending more agents to your state?
Well, the volume of agents, I don't think, is the issue. I think the issue is how do people respond to that? ICE has a legal mission, which is to enforce immigration laws in this country. There's over 1 million people over the years who've been designated for deportation who are still in the country. Many of them have criminal histories. And so they have a legal job to do. If people don't like ICE, then go change the laws in Congress. But this idea that you're going to obstruct legal process, try to get in their way, throw things at them, again, yes, protest peacefully if you want to, but you don't get to obstruct the exercise of legal process. So I don't think the issue here is the number of ICE agents. It's the relationship between the federal agency and the state and its people, and it's very tense and chaotic right now.
In the hours just after the fatal shooting incident involving the ICE agent and Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis, we spoke to you. You said it was sad and it was a tragic day, but her car was parked in a way that blocked traffic. Since then, we've seen more videos. They've surfaced showing multiple different angles of this incident. Has your perspective changed in any way, Governor?
Well, certainly the video, of course, the news media understandably played the video from the driver's side of the car mostly because that's all they had. But as we now get to see a 360 view of what happened, there's a lot more going on here and there's a lot of questions. And I think, from my opinion, when a car makes contact with a law enforcement officer, there's at least going to be a plausible self-defense argument. And just as our country is split, you could see how a jury might be split if criminal charges are brought. And of course, in a criminal case, you have to have a unanimous verdict. And so I think it's going to be difficult for the prosecution to get a unanimous verdict when this car has made contact with this officer. We don't know if it was intentional or accidental.
Over the past several days, we've seen so many people make quick decisions or really take sides when it comes to this shooting. You've even said people have stuck to their red or blue teams. Do you think this has become a Republican or Democrat issue?
Not entirely, but mostly. And of course, people reflexively came out too early. And one of the lessons doesn't work in today's social media world is when you have a situation like this, it's complex. There's a lot of questions here. A lot of new information came out as more videos came out. And for public leaders who are supposed to be calm and set the right tone for the rest of us in public, to make big legal conclusions right out of the gate before they had almost no evidence, no investigation, I thought was really disappointing, to put it mildly.
I do want to ask you a bit more about the investigation. Many legal experts are casting doubt on whether or not an investigation will even happen in this case. This is all coming after local officials were blocked from investigating the shooting, and the White House is saying that Mrs. Good is at fault. What do you make of the administration's response and state officials not being allowed to investigate? We had an FBI expert on yesterday. She said that's rare. Usually they do work hand in hand in cases like this. Could this undermine Americans' trust in this investigation?
I think the federal government and the state government and all of us would be well served if it was a cooperative investigation between the federal agencies and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, or BCA. Our BCA in Minnesota is a well-regarded, well-respected, nonpartisan investigation agency and public safety agency. And I think it would have been helpful in terms of engendering public trust and confidence in the outcome of the investigation if both would be involved in a parallel cooperative fashion.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.